let us start discussion on various civilizations in the world. So this is our third history lecture, and we are just at a very fundamental level or basic level. Prior to that, just I want to ask you one question: that have you observed lecture number 1 and lecture number 2? And have you solved that test that after that lecture, 5 questions or some questions we are giving? Just another request is there that after each and every lecture, we are going to ask you certain questions. And followed by that, the slide will display the answer. So what you have to do that after observing that question paper, pause video for a little bit and then solve that all questions, then continue. You'll get answers of that. So evaluate yourself. If your score is 3 or more than 3, that means out of 5, if you are scoring 3 or more than 3, then only observe next lecture. Otherwise, again observe that previous lecture fully. Okay, so let us start now the discussion. We are talking about civilizations in the world, particularly 3000 years ago. So, first civilization we are going to discuss, that is civilization that developed in the basin of river Nile, that is Egyptian civilization. You are aware that Nile is world's longest river. Don't get confused with largest river and longest river. The largest river, that means if you are considering the amount of water drained by that river, then the largest river is Amazon River, that is in South America. Whereas longest lengthwise, Nile is 20 kilometer more length than that Amazon River. So largest river is Amazon, whereas longest river is Nile. That world's longest river is flowing through world's greatest desert, that is Sahara Desert. This Nile River is having origin in equatorial region of Africa. Two sources are there. One is called as White Nile and other is called as Blue Nile. Then they are having confluence. Then onwards it is called as only Nile River, which flows through equatorial region, that is dense forest, heavy rainfall is there. Then it enters in savanna type part, that is grassland. But in tropical region, the grassland is there, that is called as savanna. And then it enters in desert of Sahara, where in the desert of Sahara, that river, that is greatest river in that part, because of that river, the culture developed along with that bank, that is called as Egyptian civilization. So in this map, you are observing Egyptian civilization. We are just going to discuss in very brief about this Egyptian civilization. This civilization was developed something 6000 years ago. Prior to that may be there, but we are getting existences from 6000 years ago. That evidences the king or emperor, that is called as Pharaoh. They were having strong belief in the life after death. Say, I am revising. What they were having belief? Life after death. We are saying that end of life there is death, but they believe that after death only life begins. And for that purpose, they were constructing out, that means their king, they were constructing out their tomb, that is called as pyramid. Anyway, about this pyramid, variety of mysteries are there. Why they built up, why they are considered as tomb of pyramid, tomb of that pharaoh and all that. But anyway, the pyramids were constructed by these pharaohs. They have mentioned what is the purpose and all that in that pyramid. Various things they have mentioned. In the particular script, you are aware of that name of script, that is called as hieroglyphics. We are aware that this hieroglyphic script, that is pictorial representation. But how to decipher? Decipher means read out. Cipher, the word indicate 0. Decipher, That means if it is 0 means meaningless, to we have to convert it into meaning. So that's why we are calling it as decipher, or simply we can consider that decipher means to encode out. So how to encode out this script? Surprisingly, this incident happened after many years of this Egyptian civilization. Great emperor Alexander the Great, in history book it is written as the Great, we are saying Alexander the Great, he invaded Egypt. And at that time, it was that that Egypt was under Greece rule. And then ancient Greek people, they translated hieroglyphics into Greek inscription. On stone, they carved out the symbols, hieroglyphic symbol, and connected it with Greek symbol. So like that, this is the translation from hieroglyphics to Greek. This stone was there in the village in Egypt that is having name as Rosetta. During the course of history, various kingdoms arrived, and then this stone disappeared somewhere in the sand. After many years, say Alexander the Great was around 2300 years ago. After that, in 19th century and 20th century, some research work was carried out. Particularly, there was a person, that is great French emperor named as Napoleon Bonaparte. You are aware of that French emperor, that Napoleon Bonaparte, who conquered France after French Revolution. So another imperial empire was developed in France, that is of Napoleon Bonaparte. And then Napoleon invaded this desert, Egypt and all that. At that time, French soldiers got his stone at village Rosetta. And therefore, in archaeology or history, this stone is famous as Rosetta Stone, where we get translation of hieroglyphics to Greek. And the historians were aware of ancient Greek scriptures. And therefore, they were able to read what is there written in hieroglyphics. And this way, we are able to read these hieroglyphics. So, there was ancient Egyptian civilization. The king is called as Pharaoh. We are aware of various famous pharaohs, those who have ruled over Egypt. Some name of pharaohs were Amenhotep, then one female ruler, Nefertiti, another female ruler, Hatshepsut, and like that we are having names. But one name is surprisingly surprise for me. The thing is that the name of that pharaoh is Ramses. Now, whether our connection was there with Egyptian civilization, doubtful. But we will find this type of word. I don't know Egyptian language. What is the meaning of Ram in Egyptian language? I don't know. But I want to give you another incident with connection with here. That what we are calling here Nile River. See, this is the problem in the pronunciation. In our books, ancient books, they have mentioned Nile River. They are not calling as Nile, they call as Nile. Say, if you are looking at China, in previous lecture only we discussed, it is China, that is English pronunciation. What we pronounce as Chin. Same way, Nile is English pronunciation, was we were pronouncing that is Nile, that is blue. Now, whether that river is blue, and try to recollect, we discussed in early part of this lecture only, that Nile River is having two sources, Blue Nile and White Nile. So can we call Blue Nile? So this way we can discuss that whether that means in Sanskrit, whatever the words are used, they are having similar meaning in the Egyptian language or not. But the name of one of the pharaoh, that is Ramses, in Bible, you'll find that same name, particularly during Old Testament, the Musa, or that is called as Moses, Moses is name of one of the prophet. So Moses taken away these Jewish people from Egypt to Israel. At that time, the name of Pharaoh or king, that was Ramses. So you can check out in Bible also after that. So anyway, so this was just I'm giving you idea. Now Greeks were constructing out huge pyramids. Their culture was based on agriculture. But apart from that, they were well developed in this art, architecture. You can observe the huge sphinx they have constructed over there. Then the way they developed canals, canal irrigation was much more developed, and they were very good in agricultural activities. Not only that, they were very good in the development of chemistry. In fact, the word chemistry, what I am calling, that is also having origin in this Arabic or ancient Egyptian people. Say, the people, some of the group of people in Egypt, they were called as Kimaya Gar. Kimaya is the Arabic word meaning miracle. Al is the prefix they are using, that is as the. So the miracle, Al Kimaya. And the one who is interested in making that alchemia, that is called as alchemist. These alchemists were busy in finding out one substance that will convert iron into gold. For that purpose, they work hard. Again, they were interested in getting a single medicine for all diseases, and like that they were interested. Whether they got or not, that is again mystery. But because of this mystery, chemistry developed. The Kimaya, alchemia, that was considered as alchemist, and that was word corrupted as chemist and chemistry. Alright. So they developed chemistry to very great extent, and no doubt a well-known civilization was there. At some course in history, it was invaded by Persian emperor. Again, it was invaded by Greek civilization, Alexander the Great, and then onwards, variety of people invaded that, but that is not right now our part of history. So around 3000 years ago, that Egyptian civilization was in existence. Now we are switching over to the Gulf of Persia. You are aware of the map, that Gulf of Persia. Then towards the Black Sea and Caspian Sea, there is mountain range that is called as Caucasus mountain range. Then you can observe to the south of Black Sea, a territory is there that is called as Anatolia, or that is also called as Asia Minor. Today, that nation is called as Turkey, but the old names, they are Anatolia or Asia Minor. From that, two rivers from that region, that means Anatolia and Caucasus part of south part, from that two rivers were having origin. One is called as Tigris and other is called as Euphrates. In the basin of this Tigris and Euphrates, actually this desert that is there in Africa, that is Sahara Desert, it is continued in Asia, that is Arabian Desert. Then it is continued in Iraq. Actually, that Iraq, then next part Iran, and in India till Rajasthan. Actually, this desert is continued, which is interrupted by these river basins. Say for example, this now Mesopotamia, the region between two rivers, that is Tigris and Euphrates. So that is there. Now you are observing in map this region, that is Mesopotamia, where in ancient period various civilizations developed. For example, Akkad civilization or Akkadians. These Akkadians, then Sumerians, like that various cultures developed there. Then onwards, Asur people. they also developed there, Ashur or Asur. Actually, according to Persian language, the meaning of Asur is God. So the people of God, like that. So anyway, so that is Asur people. Now again, you may connect it with Indian epics. Yeah, you can definitely connect, because references of these Asur people they found in these Indian epics also. Today also, their idols of various Asur kings were uh, preserved in some museum in France. The names of these Asur king, we are aware, they are Asur Nisarpal or Asur Nasirpal, Asur Banipal, Asur Mahipal. So like that names are there. The characteristic of these Asur people, that they were very, very, very cruel. Particularly when they were behaving with the conquered people, they behaved very brutally with these conquered people. This was their characteristic. They were spreading out terror in order that after this record of this terror, when they will arrive on another territory, the people should surrender without war. Just because of their fear only, they should surrender. Anyway, so this is something about Asur people. Then the Babylonian culture also developed in this area. Later on, it shifted to the Arabian Peninsula, to the northeast part of Arabian Peninsula. This Babylonian civilization shifted in latter phase. These all civilizations are well mentioned in Bible, particularly the Old Testament of Bible. They have mentioned various civilizations during that particular part. Now, these Asur or Sumerian, Akkadian, whatever, simply we can call them as Mesopotamian. They were very good in agricultural activities. It is believed, say we don't have historical guaranteed source, but it is believed that they harvested wheat first time, and later on wheat, that crop was spread worldwide. So like that, various concepts are there about Mesopotamia. So they are very good, very rich in the agricultural activities, because their land is in region of Mesopotamia, the rivers, that is Euphrates and Tigris, and due to canal irrigation and all that, very good agricultural activities were developed in this area. Various cities were developed, and various idols and everything developed during that particular part. In Bible, there is reference of hanging garden. So this hanging garden most probably was there in Babylon, city of Babylon. It was there. They were very good in architectures, and obviously in art they were also very good developed. So these all things we are just discussing in brief about this Mesopotamian culture. Now to the east of Mesopotamia, not what you are observing now, that is Persia, or that is called as Pars. Original name of that territory was Pars. In Greek literature, it was named as Persia. Let us talk about this culture. This is in Iran, present day. It's very ancient civilization. The origin of this civilization we don't know. But they say that Ahur Mazda was name of their god. Their civilization, what they developed, that is called as Pars. This is most probably the name given from Indian side for them. Say if you are looking at Indian civilization, Indian people, they say that we should be Purvabhimukha. Purvabhimukha means our mouth should face towards east side. So if you are looking map, if you are having orientation towards east side, then back side, that is Parshva, Sanskrit word, which is corrupted as Paras or Pars, most probably. Without evidence, I am not speaking. If you are observing Jain literature or Jainism, the first Tirthankar, that means prophet, that is called as Rishabha Deva. but he is oftenly called as Adinath. Adi means the first, at beginning. So the first or at beginning, the Nath. Nath means Lord. So the first Lord, that is Adinath. The 23rd Tirthankar, that means prophet, is called as Parshwanath. That Parshwa means the last. Whereas 24th Tirthankar is Vardhaman Mahavir. So Vardhaman Mahavir propagated this idea of Jainism, but this Jainism was developed particularly from Adinath to Parshwanath. Now the last, or towards back side, towards end side, the word is called as Parshwanath. But in Jain literature, many times this word is coming as Parasnath. Many times this is referred, instead of Parshwanath, this is referred as Parasnath. And now you will realize that the Parshva word is corrupted most probably as Paras. Again, there is tremendous similarity between ancient Persian language and ancient Sanskrit language. Sanskrit language is actually, we are discussing in latter phase, but just now here I want to give you introduction. It is divided into two parts, that is called as Vedic Sanskrit, which is very ancient one, and latter the developed, that is called as Laukik Sanskrit. So here there is similarity between Vedic Sanskrit, that means ancient Sanskrit, and ancient Persian language. Let us check. Similarities are there, little bit here and there, it is obvious. You are aware that certain words from one language to another language, when they are going, they are corrupted. The pronunciations are something different. Like in India, you will find that the word wo is pronounced as b in many states. Say for example, Bengal. The Sanskrit name of this territory was Vanga. This v is corrupted as b and it is called as Banga. Okay, so if you are going towards eastern side of India, then these eastern states, they are pronouncing b instead of pronunciation of v. Similarly, there is confusion in pronunciation between y and j, not in India, worldwide. For example, the name of river is Yamuna or Jamuna, but both are pronounced. The surname is there in India, that is Yadav, but in certain part it is called as Jadav. So Yadav or Jadav. So similarly, y and j in Europe, they are also having lot of confusion. Various languages, say for example, I don't know much of the culture about South Africa, but those Europeans, they settled out in South Africa. While we observe in cricket match, we are aware, obviously we are from a comparatively older period. So the captain of South African team, his name, when we were reading out, it was written as Cronje, but they were pronouncing as Cronier. There was a player named as Boye. They were pronouncing as Boye, but while writing, they were writing Boje. So like that, there is confusion between J and Y, the pronunciation of Y and pronunciation of J. If you want to check, you can find out what is the name of Jesus. Check out, there is also confusion between Y and J. What is the name of father of Jesus? That is also confusion, because in Arabic script it is mentioned as Yusuf, whereas in European script it is mentioned as Joseph. So Y and J. If you check who baptized Jesus, Jesus was baptized by John. So spelling of John, and then why H is there in spelling of John? It's Johann, but that Johann is corrupted as Johann. It was corrupted as John. So like that, there is confusion between Y and J. Similarly, in Persia, they are having pronunciation difference between S and H. I don't know the rules of grammar of that people, but sometimes they pronounce S as S only, like their name of nation, Pars. But sometimes they pronounce S as H. Want to check? Just now I told Asur people were there. But what is the name of God of Persian people? The Persian peoples, they were considering their name of God, ancient Persian, as Ahura Mazda. The word that is Ahura, just change out H to S, you will find Asur Mazd. So that is the god. Mazd is the corrupted word, or say we can say it is having similar word in ancient Vedic Sanskrit as Medha. Medha is something super intelligence. So this is the super intelligent god, like that Ahura Mazda. So similarities and dissimilarities. So here the Persian civilization was developed particularly, that is in desert, but in desert mountain ranges are there and obviously rivers are there, and in the basins of this river this civilization developed. Here a name of person is Zarathustra. I am revising name of person Zarathustra. But European people were not able to pronounce this Zarathustra. They pronounce as Zoroaster. And the followers of Zoroaster, they are called as Zoroastrian or Parsi people. Today we are calling them as Parsi, but name is Zoroastrian. This is because this person is called as Zoroaster. Alright, but original name is Zarathustra. So he developed this religion. Exact period of this Lord Zarathustra is not aware. But he developed various concepts, and religious reforms particularly were carried out by Zarathustra at that time. Because of this, the Persian people were united with single religion, and later on they developed their huge empire. But that was not 3000 years ago, so I am not discussing here in detail. I am just giving you introduction about this civilization. The next, we are switching over to east side. We are having civilization, that is Indus Valley civilization, which ranges from Kabul in Afghanistan to Daimabad, is placed in Maharashtra. In Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra, towards Aurangabad side, there is place called as Daimabad, where also Indus Valley civilization sites were recovered. So this vast territory was under control of Indus Valley civilization. So obviously this was existing, and we are aware that Indus Valley civilization lost out 5000 years ago. Indus Valley civilization was developed. We are not much aware about that when it was developed. But with archaeological evidences, we can surely say that it was ended somewhere 5000 years ago. After that, till period of Chandragupta Maurya, that means around 2300 years ago, between that period, we are not getting the evidences in art architecture in India. So we are just now switching over to next civilization, that is Chinese civilization. We are calling China, but this is actually from our nation we are pronouncing as Chin. The name is as Chin. And how ancient that, the Sanskrit word is there to describe ancient, that is called as Pra-Chin. So you will get idea that this civilization is also very, very ancient civilization. Particularly, the worldwide variety of discoveries were carried out by Chinese people. Now, to the north of China, there is nation that is called as Mongolia. We are now switching from civilized world to nomadic world. In first two lectures, we described just about this nomadic world. Now we are switching over to this nomadic world, that is towards north of China. There is place that is called as Mongolia today, but in old days, no specific name, at least we were aware. From Mongolia to Ukraine, in the map you can check out that from Mongolia to Black Sea, north of Black Sea, north of Caspian Sea, inclusive of that territory, there is territory that is called as steppes. Steppes is a grassland. You are aware it is towards the center from all sides of this Eurasia continent. Much of the approach towards sea is not available. To the Black Sea, to the Caspian Sea, like that Aral Sea, like that little bit approach is there towards sea. But otherwise, huge ocean sea is not there. As a result, rainfall in this area is very, very less. You are aware that if rainfall is less and no other supply of water is there, then obviously trees are not able to grow on that land. So chances are there it is either a grassland or it is a desert. In Europe, to the north of this Black Sea, there is steppes where that is very good grassland. The thing is that vicinity of Black Sea, and we are getting comparatively good rainfall. I am not saying good rainfall, comparatively good rainfall, and therefore height of grass is more in that steppes region, that is Ukraine. From Ukraine, switch over to eastern side, slowly height of grass decreases. And in Mongolian part, height of grass is very, very less. Many territories there, they are developed into a desert that is called as desert of Gobi. But in local Mongolian language, the meaning of Gobi is desert only. That is the land of ancient, most probably Hun people. We are calling them as Hun, but in Chinese literature they are mentioned as Yung Nu. So these Huns or Yung Nu people, they were there in China, to the north of China. They were nomads, but they were very good warriors, and they were attacking over China time to time, or any time when they were in need of something, most probably food, they were attacking over China. Ultimately, these people were very, very cruel, and therefore Chinese people were harassed, and ultimately Chinese government decided to protect their people by constructing a wall that is called as Great Wall of China. In the book Six Glorious Epoch, our great freedom fighter V.D. Savarkar says that whatever the Great Wall of China, you will realize the terror of these Yung Nu people in the world. So these people are called as Yung Nu Huns. To the western part of this Hun, now they were nomads, so they were not having permanent houses and all that, but they were having a definite territory in which territory they were wandering out. They were very good in archery, they were very good in horse riding. But now to the west side, another similar tribal people were there, nomads only. They were called as Yuchi, that is Yue-chi, Yuchi people. They were also called as Kushan in India, Shuk second in India only, Tocharians or Turushka people. Various names are there for these people. Then to the west of that, the area that is called as Scythia. The people, the tribes there, they were called as Scythians. So like that, various nomadic civilizations were there. I am giving you very few. I am not describing here Goths, Vandals and all that. We are describing this very ancient period, and only world impact people I am discussing here. So this is just introduction about the world map, then introduction about the civilizations 3000 years ago. Now in this all, we will not find the Greek and Roman civilization, because 3000 years ago this was not there. Same to same like that, Huns and all that, they were not called as civilization. So, but I am just now showing in the map where Greece is there, and in next map I am showing here now where Roman, that means Italian people were there. Most probably the Greece as a nation start developing 2800 years ago. Say the land was present, people were present, but as a development start, as a Greece, that is 2800 years ago, and then onwards Roman development started. So I am just giving you here introduction about these civilizations in the world. From next lecture, we are going to discuss about India first, and then we will switch over to world once again. as I've explained in the beginning of this lecture only, that you have to go undergo the test. So after this lecture, immediately you will get the slide. Just pause this video, solve that all questions on that slide, then play the video. You'll find maybe possible 2 slides, maybe possible only single slide, and then in next slide you will get answers. Answers are same as the slide is same, but only answers are shown in red color. All right, and then evaluate yourself. If you are scoring out 3 or 3+ mark, then observe next lecture. Otherwise observe this lecture once again. Thanks.